It is true that those we meet can change us, sometimes so profoundly that we are not the same afterwards, even unto our names. From Life of Pi by Jan Martel. The collective unconscious is a concept originally defined by the psychoanalyst Carl Jung. It is sometimes called the objective psyche. It refers to the idea that a segment of the deepest mind can be genetically inherited and can be shaped by personal experiences. According to Jung's teaching, the collective unconscious is common to all humans and is responsible for a number of deep-seated beliefs and instincts, such as spirituality, sexual behaviors, and life and death instincts. Moreover, more people should read The Life of Pi because it helped me to understand how the author uses symbolism to show the readers how Pi's collective unconscious influenced the way he grows out of his innocence through his coming of age, his life on the Pacific Ocean, and his fight against temptation in order to survive. The theme of loss of innocence in the Book of Life of Pi is closely related to the theme of survival. Its significance is reflected in the geographic structure of the book. In part 1, Pi is in Pondicherry, where he was born and raised in a zoo, and there we can notice that he is innocent. We see it particularly in Chapter 5. In Chapter 5, we can notice his coming of age, the process where he is growing from a child to a young adult, which isn't central to the plot, but there's many important signs of it throughout the novel. And generally speaking, we become adults when we can take care of ourselves without the intervention of our parents or guardians. Pius begins this process when he chooses his new nickname, but it has a long and agonizing journey from there. I got up from my desk and hurried to the blackboard. Before the teacher could say a word, I picked up a piece of chalk and said as I wrote, "My name is Pisin Molitor Patel, known to all as," a double underlined it, Pi Patel. In this code, we found out that Pi's full name is Pisin Molitor Patel. He was named after a family friend who loved to swim and whose favorite swimming pool was the Piscine Molitor in Paris. Instead of giving their son their friend's name, Pi's parents named him after a pool. Because he's constantly teased by his name and being called Pising Patel, he decided to shorten it simply to Pi. In part 2, Pius is in the Pacific Ocean, and there we see that he is innocent. That part doesn't start chronologically as the preview said, but instead, it starts with Pi inviting Richard Parker, the tiger, onto the lifeboat. Florida represents for Pi reaching out to Richard Parker as a symbol of his own survival instinct. It is this survival instinct that is at the heart of Pi's loss of innocence. It is also this survival instinct that drives him to act in ways he never thought he could. Additionally, throughout Part 2, there are other representative moments of loss of innocence beside the symbolic one of bringing Richard Parker onto the lifeboat. The most important of these is the death of the Frenchman, which is Pi described as killing a part of him which will never come back to life. That part can certainly be read as his innocence. This was the terrible cost of Richard Parker. He gave me a life, my own, but to the expense of taking one. He ripped the flesh of the man's frame and cracked his bones. The smell of blood filled my nose. Something in me died, and I knew it will never come back to life. This passage shows Pi in one of his darkest moments. The relative shortest sentence here seems to imply a closing off. Pi can only bear to remember so much. He can list the sensations, but he does not delve into the awful events' effects on his psyche. This moment, more than any other in the text, seems to mark the absence of God. It is also the moment where Pi's life is not explicitly threatened. Pai's guilt here is more easily understandable in the second version of the story, where he is who killed the Frenchman. Either way, if Richard Parker is seen as a symbol of pure survival instinct, this is the moment in the text where that instinct wins out completely over morally control and innocence. In the second half of the story, Algae Island symbolizes salvation and temptation for Pi. This island might be the second weirdest part of the novel. It is an island made entirely of seaweed, full of meerkats and freshwater ponds. It gets even stranger. Dead fish rise to the surface of the ponds at night and disappear by morning. I was getting used to my delusion. To make it last, I refrained from putting a strain on it. When the lifeboat nudged the island, I did not move, only continued to dream. In this quote, the author Yann Martel spent too much time on it to be a delusion. And Pai also described it very precisely for it to be a delusion, and it has edges. One possibility is that the author uses this part to represent a comfortable place. Furthermore, Pai could just stay on the island where he could find water and food to survive, but because of his maturity level, which is higher than most people his age, he decided he was better to resist temptation and salvation. In conclusion, Jung's teaching and collective unconscious is common to all human beings and is responsible for a number of deep-seated beliefs and instincts. In The Life of Pi by Yann Martel, the main character coming of age, life on the Pacific Ocean, and his delusion influence the way he grows out of his innocence.